What's up, Eagles Nation? Oh my goodness. We are the Friday night before Championship Sunday weekend, and our birds are in it. I can't tell you just how many times I felt like I had to pinch myself this week. Based off just two short years ago, how bad things were and how bad things looked, to 2 years later, we're a win away from going to the Super Bowl. And a lot of credit has to go to the players. And this team just has a desire and will about them that even with everything that's gone wrong and the injuries and everything and the leaders that have been lost, MVP candidate Carson Wentz that's been lost, and this team just keeps finding ways. And you can doubt them and you can hate on them all you want. They just use it. It's like a sponge. You know, the more people doubt, the more people hate, the more it gives them that desire to want to win and prove everyone wrong and prove it to themselves that they can keep winning. Winning is an attitude. Don't ever forget that. It's an attitude. You see those teams that win, they have it. And I do believe that this team, this is just the beginning. I said this a week ago, and I'm not trying to delve too much in the future because we have a very big game on Sunday, but this is just the beginning of things. You got the franchise quarterback, you got the coach that looks like he could be the real deal, you got other coaches around him, you got other players, leaders, guys that want to win so bad it hurts, guys who know what it takes to win. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people have picked against the Eagles, and we all know how well that went a week ago. But what they're not taking into account, besides the fact that the Eagles are home, besides the fact that this team plays tremendous at home, particularly on defense, they're a ferocious defense at home. The Falcons found that out a week ago. The only 10 points they got were off turnovers, by the way. This team has a chip on their shoulder, and I'm not talking about Chip Kelly. I'm talking about a chip that the national pundits, Vegas, all these people are just counting them out to the point that even today you had the NFL, and I know it was a mistake, but they leaked out something on the, they put out that advertisement for the Super Bowl, and it was the Patriots versus the Vikings. Yeah, don't think the Eagles won't use that either. I'm sure they have a big blow up of that right on the. Oh, okay, they think it's gonna be them. Oh, because the Minnesota's hosting the Super Bowl. That's why. Yeah. No. Well, guess what? Minnesota isn't hosting this game. They're not at home this week. They got to come here. They got to go through the Eagles, and they got to go through the Eagle fans. Because as the Falcons found out a week ago, when you turn the switch on Eagle fans, and you turn that key, and it's like a wind up, and you just let it go. Okay. Credit to those Eagle fans, those guys and gals out there last week, generations of Eagle fans that were just incredible during that game. That was an incredible home field advantage. The fans were noisy the whole game. It was no sitting on the hands. There were nervous moments. There were moments of oh my God, what the heck, But the fans were there in full throat from before the game started, hours before the game started, to hours after it ended. It was an incredible atmosphere. I mean, you can feel the energy coming off the TV screen. My boss, who was there with his wife, said it was the most incredible atmosphere he's ever been at. Not just the game, but the tailgating and everything. Look, the fans have thrived in this town by being the underdog. This is the underdog capital of the country. This is the city of Rocky. We are not one of those charmed sports cities where everything always goes right. We have to go through tough times. We have 4 major sports teams, and none of them were in the playoffs the last 2 years leading up to this year. The Eagles broke that. But this is a town where everything is earned. Nothing's ever given. This is a town that loves our teams. We damn sure love our Eagles. This is a football town. This is a football mentality town. This is a town that cares. You saw that in the draft. How perfect is it that the start of this season happened in Philadelphia, in the draft, in the steps of the art museum, in the Parkway. I went there. It was incredible. And all the talk is about the Eagles, the horrible Philadelphia fans. What are they going to do? The Philadelphia fans showed out in that atmosphere as well as you can ever expect. just welcoming other fans in with open arms and just sharing the brotherhood of being a football fan. You know, it was an incredible atmosphere, and the Philly fans showed so well in that game, in that moment. You know, cheering the picks and welcoming in the new Eagles with open arms and booing the heck out of Dallas players, the former Dallas players and everything. It was awesome, and to think that this season started here, and that this team, the team that represents this city, could play for a Super Bowl at the end of the season. How awesome would that be? I know all the talk about with Minnesota, it's a home game in a host city and it's never happened. How awesome would it be if the Eagles win a Super Bowl? The year that the NFL draft was in Philadelphia, and it bookends with an end with the confetti coming down on the team that hosted that draft. Yeah, it's not quite the story as Minnesota, getting a home game, but I think that's a great story. I think that's an awesome story. And oh, by the way, this is a fan base that's been waiting very long for this team to win. And I know the Viking fans have too. And look, I give them full marks and credit too. I know what it's like to be a fan of a team that has given me some tough times. Okay. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I have seen everything you can see with a team besides winning a championship. I've seen them play at the highest at the highest of games. I saw them in a Super Bowl in 2005. I was too young for 1980. I've seen them in NFC title games. I've seen them win incredible games. Some games against the Giants come to mind. Just miraculous fashion, the 4th and 26, this, that, everything, I've seen them have great players, future Hall of Fame players, to players that, why the hell were they even here? Coaches the same way, everything. I've seen them play in the Kelly Greens. I've seen them play in the Midnight Greens. I've seen them, do everything that you can come up with as a fan to see his team do. Yeah, without winning the championship. That hasn't happened, but I've had some great moments with this team, and I wouldn't want to be a fan of any other team. This is where I live. This is where my heart is, and I love all 4 teams, but the Eagles is just, they were the first. They were my first love affair in Philadelphia, and if I can have that moment, and I do believe this is just a start of things, like I said, knowing that we have that franchise quarterback and coach and the staff and the ownership. And again, Howie Roseman, tip of the cap, the executive of the year, rightfully so. The players, winning is an attitude, winning is a mentality, and you saw that with this team all year long. 13-3 with all those injuries, and you see other teams, good teams, when they have injuries, they're not even in the playoffs. They didn't even have a shot. Dallas, the Zeke Elliott suspension, that just derailed their whole season. Not just when he was suspended, but before that too. And I know nothing is guaranteed, and it's a year-to-year deal. But when you have those players in place and the coaching staff in place and the ownership in place, you're going to have some years. Look, I'm excited. Because I know what it's like to be on the other side of it. And just 2 years ago, we were on the other side of it, something awful. That season was one of the worst years. And all you have to do is go back to see season 2 of Season of the Fan. When we were going through that last season with Chip Kelly and just the non-compete levels on this team. Not showing up for games at home. And it was just horrible. Horrible. Because as a fan, you never want to see your team go through that. You just, to not show up for home games, but to go from that to where we are now, it's night and day. And it's amazing. I had to pinch myself. My God, we're a win away from the Super Bowl. I know that I am fortunate. I've seen my team in the Super Bowl. So many fans that can't say that. But, damn it, we should have won that game against the Patriots. But to see that, those years, and after that game, it was almost like, we'll be back again. Hey, that was in 2005. It's now 2018, and it's been that long. And I know that that's not as long as it is for other teams like the Vikings, but that's a long time, And that team should have won more. It just went to hell after that, and the T.O. situation and everything, and it got bad quick. But, here we are again. For the first time since 2008 in the championship game. For the first time since 2005 hosting a championship game. He said nothing's ever earned. And I think that's a great example of that. How long it had to be just before hosting game, championship. Patriots do it every year, it seems. But for other fan bases, we have to wait a little bit. And I'll tell you, I can't be more proud of this team. I can't be more proud of what they've accomplished just to get here. And again, it's a testament to the ownership. They got guys on this team, and one of the things that these national pundits just aren't taking into account, other than the fact, like I said, this game's here, they have players on this team that have won Super Bowls, that know what it takes to get there, that know what it takes and the sacrifices that have to be made to get to that game and to win that game. You have two guys on this team that won last year. You have LeGarrette Blount and Chris Long, two guys that were brought in this offseason to be leaders, kind of showing the way. This is how we did it. And not every team can beat the Patriots. They're a once-a-lifetime team and organization. But get guys from those teams, and they can teach these other guys, this is what you got to do. No, this is how you practice. No, this is how. This is where you got to listen to these meetings for. This is where you got to do the extra stuff you got to do. Was it Parcells used to do? This is why you lift them extra weights. This is why you do. Yeah, it's to get there. And that should be the focus. That should always be the focus, is to get there, is to get to that game and to win a championship. There should be no settling for any less. And only one team wins every year. I get it. It's like the Patriots just about every year. But one team gets it. But you got to believe it. And you got to do the extra things that have to be done to win it. You have to get those players that if there are injuries, other guys can step up to keep the train rolling. Making trades during a season for Jay Ajayi. Building to what was already a strength and adding to it. That's what it takes. And you have Long, and you have LeGarrette Blount, and you have Malcolm Jenkins, who won a Super Bowl with the Saints those years ago. And you have Maragos, who's hurt right now, but don't think he's not telling these guys. This guy was a special teams captain. He was on the Seahawks when they won. You have at least 4 guys that I think of off the top of my head who have won Super Bowls, that know what it takes to get there. Leaders of this team. Malcolm Jenkins is a leader. Chris Long is a leader. LeGarrette Blount's a leader in the running with the running backs. Guys that, by the way, he had the only touchdown last week. Guys that are leaders that have earned the hardware that they have on their rings, on their fingers rather, and this is part of the reason why this team is winning, why this team went 13-3, why this team, it won that game last week. And I know Carson Wentz gets a lot of credit, and deservedly so. He was an MVP. I will always say this: whoever wins the MVP this year, if it's not him, you put an asterisk next to their name. It's because Carson Wentz got hurt that they're an MVP. That's why. If Carson Wentz plays the full season, he's the MVP, hands down. Hands down, he's the MVP. But you have to have leaders, and you have to have guys that know what it takes to win, and guys that are willing to take other players under their wing, if you will, and to teach them this is what you do. This is how you practice. This is what you do. You don't take anything for granted. You don't take anything off. There's no shortcuts. This is how you got to do it, and this is how you win, and this is how you build. Not just win now, but win for the future too. This is how you do it. And to their credit, they evaluated getting guys like that on this team, and making them leaders. People respect guys like that, and even the guys that haven't won a Super Bowl. A guy like a Brent Selleck, keeping him around. Yeah, his skills are not what they used to be, but the guy is still a leader on this team. Again, evaluating a team is evaluating the leaders, the guys that you should keep, and I'm not saying you're always going to do that, but you have to evaluate leaders. These are the guys that are going to be the voices in the locker room, that when times are tough, these are guys that guys are going to lean on for advice. What do we got to do to get better? What do we got to do to get better? And that's what this team started doing last offseason. Not this offseason, last offseason, when they extended guys like Malcolm Jenkins, when they extended guys like Brent Selleck, gave the contract to Fletcher Cox. Again, addressing who the leaders of this team are. Keep them here. Don't let them go. Keep them here. Because times were tough. When times are good, this is exactly why you're keeping these guys on this team. I love the fact they went to the captaincies this year. A lot of teams do it. This is the first time the Eagles did it. Addressing who's our lead, but not just guys who, if you're gonna, where there are plenty of guys on this team that don't have a C on their uniform that are leaders of this team. But they addressed who some of the guys they want to wear that C. It's an honor. It's a big thing, and they lost a lot of those guys. I almost thought of it, maybe it's like a curse, because some of those guys that wore the C got hurt. But I love the fact they did that. You know, it's a little thing, but I think it's a big thing in a way. It's like getting away from the norm and doing something a little different. Look, this team has given us a great season, and I thought about Xing and owing this game on Sunday, but I'm just going to let the game play out. I think the Eagles are going to win 19-13 in a close game and a nail bite. I don't have any nails left. I don't know what I'm going to bite this week, but it's not going to be easy, but it's Philly. Nothing's ever easy. But if they can do the right things, not turn the ball over special teams, and Elliott, you better make the extra points. You cannot miss points in this game. I'm excited. I'm proud of this team. I'm proud to say I'm a fan. I'm always proud to say I'm a fan, regardless of what happens, win or lose. But this team has given me such an incredible ride this year, and to think that we're one home win away from going to the Super Bowl for the first time since '05. It's amazing. It's just, and the camaraderie that comes with it. Sports is a great venue for camaraderie. We had a Eagles Day today at lunch, and or at work rather, and people got together in the main lobby around 2:00 and sung the fight song, and yeah, there was like raffles and stuff. It was really cool, and I wore my Wilbert Montgomery jersey and my '04 NFC Championship hat. It's the only two times the Eagles won an NFC. Back in '80 with Wilbert, running off tackle against Dallas, and then '04-05. When they won the NFC against Atlanta at home. Both games at home, by the way. At the Vet and at the Link. It is something, it's awesome. I was watching some specials today on TV. It just galvanizes a region. And we know this in this area. When our teams do well, we like to boast about it. Maybe a little more than some other cities that are used to it, that happen just about every year. But it's a great thing. Enjoy this. Enjoy this game on Sunday. For those fans that are lucky enough to be at the game, I won't be one of them. But enjoy it. I know the captain's going to be there, Jason. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Bring this team home a victory. Get them to the Super Bowl. I'm going to have some buddies over. I know my buddy from Maryland, Big Slim. You might know him in the Jersey Heads community. He's the biggest Eagles fan in the state of Maryland. I have known him for a few years, and it's funny, we were talking on the phone last night, and he said, I think this is the first time since he and I have known one another that the Eagles have been in an NFC title game, and it's true. This is the furthest that they've been in the playoffs since he and I have known one another. So he's coming over this weekend. My buddy Mark M., you might know him from the Season of the Fan, the Philadelphia Flyers. He does a great job with that. I know they had a great win last night on the Eric Lindros jersey retirement night, number 88 to the rafters. Come from behind, 3-2 overtime win against Toronto. You stay classy, Canada. Awesome win by them, and I know Mark, it's been a roller coaster of a ride for him this season with the Flyers, but Mark's an Eagles fan too, and he's going to be over. I told Big Slim this. I said I want my Eagle. What I want for this game on Sunday, I want my Eagles fam there. I want other big Eagle fans to be around, because these are the type of moments where you want to be with your fellow fans. And I kind of wish that all of the Eagle vloggers can get together and watch these games together, because it's the camaraderie. We all have that singular goal, and to advance another week and get to that big game. And I really look forward to it. And obviously I'm not in the Mighty Kingdom tonight, but I'll be there in the man cave on Sunday. I'm going to film it, as much as I can. And I really hope to bring you, the viewer, that ultimate celebration at the end of winning that game and getting to a Super Bowl. I can't believe it's the first year that I've done this series. This is now my fourth year doing it. First year, obviously, the Eagles made the playoffs. and the first time they make the playoffs, me doing this series, and they can go to the Super Bowl, for God's sakes. I mean, you can't script this type of stuff, but that's why being a fan is so, it's so, there's just so much unknown. You never know how a season's going to end up, and it's just one of those things where it's amazing. And when times are going good, it makes it all that much better because you remember the times where it wasn't. And you remember just how horrible you were feeling after seasons where they didn't do good. And it's like that kick in the gut feeling. You see these other teams, these other fan bases having fun, these other fan bases that get to this game and then go to the Super Bowl, and you're sitting there going, man, why can't we just make those moves to get better? And, well, they did it. And, again, give them a lot of full marks and credit for that. They deserve a lot of credit. That ownership, the general manager, all the powers that be that made these moves. When you talk about moving up those spots to get Carson Wentz, when you talk about bringing in other players from other teams, leaders, addressing the leaders, finding the right coach, finding the right coaching staff, it all goes into it. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes you think it's easy. It's not. And it takes a lot to do this. And the fans have something to do with it too, because those teams play at home. Those fans are a big part of it. We've seen other fan bases that are just, help will a team to championships, and that's something that this fan base is trying to do this year and for the years to come. And I think it's awesome. So enjoy this game on Sunday. It's like I said last week, enjoy the ride. Enjoy this. Nothing is given, nothing's guaranteed. So enjoy it when we have it now. And I know this team is going to have some great years to come. I know that. I feel it in my heart. I see the talent on this team, and I know that it's just going to bring more talent on the team because other people are going to want to come here. This is becoming a destination. So fly, Eagles, fly. Let's go, Birds. We're one win away from the big game. And you know what? To be one of the last fan bases standing, we're in the Final Four right now. And if we can represent the NFC as a fan base, be the last one standing in the NFC, hey, it's an awesome feeling, and I believe it's going to happen. I do. I think the Eagles are going to win this game, like I said, 19-13 on Sunday. Close, hard-fought game. But I believe the Birds are going to get it done, and they're going to go to Super Bowl 52. So the Vikings, they get to go back to Minnesota, and the Eagles can follow them. Enjoy it, Eagles Nation. Have fun. Have a great time, whether you're at the game, whether you're like me, just going to be watching at home with some friends or whoever, maybe family or loved ones. Just enjoy it. Root this team on to victory. And as I've always said, and as I will always say, let's go, Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's get that win to send us to Minnesota. Well, the people who are going. As I'll probably still be here. But let's get this team, let's help get this team to Minnesota. All right, Eagles Nation, take care, and I'll see you. I'll probably be filming during the championship game, but you'll probably see me next. Unless maybe I do a vid with Big Slim, who knows? We'll see how we'll see if we can do that. But either that, or you'll see me next time you see me in this channel, will be after the win, and hopefully after talking about an Eagles victory, NFC champs. My goodness, would have thought that when the season started. You always say, yeah, I knew it. All right, everyone, take care. And Eagles, do your job. Do what you've done all year. Let the haters hate. You just keep winning. All right, everyone, take care. Go Birds. Bye.